most of you got it right, but there were some people who got it wrong, so let's quickly go over it. The USA Track and Field Committee published the following report illustrating the comparison of lap speed and finishing placement of several top relay teams. Based on the bar graph above, which of the following conclusions is most accurate? Okay, A says that the first place team, which is this team, was twice as fast as the fourth place team. Is that true? No. How fast was the first place team? Right, 7.5 meters per second. And how fast was the fourth place team? 4.5. So 7.5 is not double of 4.5. What would the first place team have to have had for that to be accurate? 9. Because 9 is twice 4.5, right? So A is wrong. B says the fastest time for the 200-meter relay is 7 meters per second. Is that true? No. The second place team was 7 meters per second, but obviously they weren't the fastest, so they wouldn't have been second, they would have been first. The first place and second place teams were closest in time to one another. That is true. If you look at all 4 of the times, we already have 3 of them. Third place was 6 meters per second. These teams were 2.5 meters per second apart. These 2 were 1 meters per second apart. And then these 2 were the closest, which is half a meter per second apart. Okay, and then every runner on the first place team ran faster than runners on the second place team. We don't know that. Okay, now I want you to try number 24. Okay, it says a TV network wants to pilot a new series in a city with 25,000 residents. Okay, so this city has 25,000 people living in it. They decided to choose a random sample of 1,000 people to determine the best time to run the series. So that means out of the 25,000, they selected 1,000 people to survey and asked them the best time to run the series. The survey asked participants to state what time of day they watch the most TV. The table below shows the results. Based on these results, approximately how many people in the city watch TV between 4 and 7? Okay, there are multiple ways to do this and get the right answer. This is the way I did it. I said, okay, well, these are the 1,000 people who were surveyed, right? Out of those 1,000, how many of them watch TV between 4 and 7? 322 of the 1,000 that were surveyed watch it between those times, right? Then I divided that to see that about 32% of those people are watching TV at that time. Now, that is just of the 1,000 that were surveyed. If we want to know out of all the people in the city, which is 25,000, don't we also need to figure out what 32% of 25,000 is? And when you calculate that, that's how you get it. Now, there were other ways to get that right, but that's just the way I did it. Okay? All right, now I want you to go ahead and try number 25. The correct answer is A. So we definitely need to go over it. It says the Statistical Data Bureau published an analysis of incomes and expenditures of 100 average families throughout the U.S. The circle graph below represents the Rosen family's monthly budget. Okay, so even though they surveyed 100 people, this number is really just a distractor that you're not going to use because we're only focusing on one family's budget. Now, we know this family brings home $1,820 a month because it says it right here. Their monthly income is $1,820. So how much money do they spend on food? Well, according to your circle graph, how much of their money is spent on food? 30%. So you just multiply it by 0.30, and that's how you'll end up with A when you multiply it. No, you got to multiply by 0.30. Well, not everything, but yes. When you're looking at this kind of graph, you'll notice that the y-axis says amount of water in milliliters. So the water dish for this dog, I'm assuming, does it say? No, we'll just say it's a dog. So in his water dish is 400 milliliters. Now, this is time on the x-axis. So between 0 and 15 seconds, seconds, it declines 100 milliliters. They want to know how long did Rover wait from the end of his first drink to the start of the second drink of water. Okay, now try it. Okay, so we already talked about the fact that he started drinking water here and then he stopped right here. Okay, and the reason I know he stopped is because it levels out again and remains the same amount of water for the next how many seconds? 30 seconds. So wasn't this the end of his first drink? And then doesn't he start drinking again right here? Well, the time between those is 30 seconds. Does that make sense to y'all now? Okay, now try number 27. Okay, it says, Janai, I'm not sure how they said that. Her first 7 French grades for the year are 91, 87, 80, 99, 85, 78, and 90. What grade is at the 75th percentile? Well, if you flip back to page 14, if you were a little confused about what they meant by 75th percentile, you would have read 75% of the data fall at or below the 3rd quartile. So in this data, what am I looking for? Right. So before I could ever find Q3, I first have to find, right, Q2, which is 87. Now that I know the middle of all the data, I can split it into upper half and lower half. And they obviously want the upper quartile, because 75th percentile, and so that's where we get the 91. Does that make sense? Okay, now try number 28. Okay, now try number 29. Okay, the correct answer for 29 is B, so most people got it right. The median, which is also known as Q2, is the middle of all the data, so obviously the middle would be the 50th percentile. Okay, number 30, we're not going to use our devices for this one because it's free response and it might take all day for people to type it in. Miss Michelson drew a box and whisker plot to represent her student scores on a recent math test. If Jennifer scored an 85 on the test, explain how her grade compares with the rest of the class. What do y'all think? Right. She's at the 75th percentile because if she has an 85, isn't that located at quartile 3? And don't we know that quartile 3 is the 75th percentile? So that means she scored higher. Than 75% of the class. Okay, once you've written that down, go ahead and try number 31 and submit your answer for 31. Okay, the correct answer is 2, B. Okay, it says, what is the minimum number of text messages sent according to the plot shown? Well, remember, with a box and whisker plot, you have the 5-number summary, the min, the max, and the 3 quartiles. The minimum is the left whisker, which goes to 2, so that's the minimum. Okay, let's just do the rest of these without the devices so we can get them done. Number 32. What number is at the 50th percentile according to the plot shown? Okay, I don't know your name, but tell me. Peyton? Okay, Peyton, what's the answer? A. Okay, A is correct because 50th percentile would be quartile 2, and that's at 12 on the number line. Okay, 33. According to the plot shown, between what 2 numbers does half of the data lie? Okay, what's your name right here? Kiera, what do you think? C is correct. Okay, let's talk about why. If 8 is quartile 1, and we know that that's the 25th percentile, and 14 is quartile 3, and we know that's the 75th percentile, isn't the entire box 50% of the data? Well, wouldn't that be half the data? So half the data lies between quartile 1 and quartile 3, which is 8 and 14. Okay, those are a little tricky. Just always remember that the entire box contains 50% of your data, so half your data. Number 34, according to the plot shown, how many text messages are at the 75th percentile? Okay, in the front, what's your name? Ben, what'd you get? 14 is correct because the 75th percentile is Q3. We're not done yet. We got page. Okay? We're almost done. Okay, pay attention because I think these are the toughest that we've done today. In order to pass a driver's safety course, a person must answer at least 45 out of the 50 questions correctly. The cumulative, keyword there, histogram below gives the scores of a group of people who passed the exam. According to the table shown, how many total people passed the driver's safety exam? What do y'all think? It's actually 20, because remember, this is cumulative. They've been adding it up as they go. So when you have a cumulative histogram, the last part of the histogram will give you your total. Now, this is the way I suggest for you to always treat cumulative histograms. I break it down. Like I'm going to put 45 questions right, 46 questions right, 47 right, 48 right, 49 right, and then 50 right. Okay, well, if you look over here at the histogram, this one is just 45, so that lets me know how many people scored exactly 45 right out of 50. How many people got exactly 45 of them right? 2. Okay, because it has a 2 above it. Now, when we move into this range, that's for people who got either 45 or 46 of them right, and it all of a sudden jumped up to 4. So how many of those people scored exactly 46? 2, because we know out of those 4, 2 of them were already at the 45. So then for the 45 to 47 range is now 8. Well, 4 of those were 45s and 46s, so how many people scored exactly a 47? 4. Are y'all starting to get it? Okay, so then for a 48, how many people scored exactly 48 if you jumped from 8 to 9? 1. How many people scored exactly a 49 if you now jump from 9 to 14? 5, because 9 plus 5 is 14. And then if you jump all the way to 20, how many people scored exactly a 50? 6. Once you list it out like that, it becomes much easier. Now when you read the questions, they're simple. How many people scored or answered 49 correctly? 5. How many people received a 48 or less? Okay, 48 or less would be from here and up. So you would just add them up. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 2 is 9. Okay? We are having our first quiz tomorrow.